How to kite as Wildling? Just get on the board and run, right? You're certainly right about that, viewer. Kiting as Wildling is that simple. But, however, a smart hunter will give up chase very quickly. So, how do you get more value when you're kiting as Wildling? Let's address the scale and review our options when being chased first as a Wildling. The scale ranges from low risk to high risk. Starting from all the way over here is the Boar's Flea. In this strategy, we waste no time getting on the board as soon as we are spotted. It may result in getting attacked while on the board just once, feeding just a bit of presence, but you, no matter what, as the Wildling, will always never be caught, because not only does Wildling have peerless movement speed, but in the time it takes for him to reach that top speed, he can get a huge head start just from getting hit once while riding on the board. Almost every hunter cannot catch a Wildling at that point, and if the hunter decides to spend all that time chasing the Wildling, which will take a minimum of 60 seconds, the other survivors who have standard decoding speed or above average decoding speed are doing way more decoding than what a Wildling can achieve with their minus 25% decoding speed. For this reason, a knowledgeable hunter will give up chase immediately. As a Wildling, the only thing you lose is some stamina later on, because the more you get on the board, the less time you get on the board. This is very low risk, low reward. You're not getting very much value when you're immediately fleeing by mounting your boar. And this is where the next strategy comes in, the Boar's Bait. As we addressed, very experienced hunters will intentionally avoid using their abilities if they can, but the Wildling can do the same, avoiding mounting on their boar, and for this reason, it can bait the hunter into chasing the Wildling because they want to get just one attack on the Wildling when he's off his board, because that can waste so much time. The Wildling has to go find another survivor, which wastes decoding time, then they have to be healed by them, which wastes decoding time for two survivors, then the Wildling has to walk back to their cipher, which collectively wastes so much decoding time, and all it takes is just hitting the Wildling once. So when the Wildling taunts the hunter by refusing to mount their boar, you're challenging them in a game of chicken. Who uses their ability first? Can a Wildling avoid getting on their boar for a decent amount of time to get the hunter to chase them without taking any damage? It's a bit risky, but it saves your team some time to decode, which is very valuable starting out. But let's say you want a high ball. High risk, high reward, not necessarily throwing caution into the wind, but rather going for a very long-term, calculated risk, the Boar's Gambit. This strategy, in which the hunter finds the Wildling first, forces the Wildling to be chaired first, either by intentionally letting your boar be destroyed by the hunter and giving them false confidence, or by purposely abstaining from mounting your boar. It's very likely that the Wildling will have a kite of 30 seconds because they're slower on average, and they're kiting without an item. But we're not playing for an early game kite, we're playing for the late game kite. When the Wildling is the first one to get chaired, that means the hunter is much more inclined to chase the Wildling, so once the Wildling gets rescued, they can kite at maximum capacity, getting on their board for the first time, almost always guaranteeing 65 seconds of kiting. With Wildling's peerless speed, the hunter is forced into a very tough decision. Do they chase Wildling, of which it will take 65 seconds minimum, or do they start over by chasing someone else entirely? But it's very risky because it requires multiple stars to align. Not only does another survivor have to rescue you successfully, but they have to give you just a brief moment when you can mount your boar, and on top of that, there is counterplay because there are certain hunters such as Disciple and Wu Chang who can stun you, or Gamekeeper who can hook the Wildling directly off the board even if they successfully get on. But when it's executed successfully, that is when you succeed in completing the Boar's Gambit.